My mother, Debra, is an incredible woman. She's an established author, an exceedingly educated scholar, a caring and loving mother and wife, a friend, a mentor, a minister, and a rock of limitless wisdom and guidance to so many. She is an extraordinarily strong woman and has always had an unwavering, ironclad commitment to fairness and equality, for doing the right thing, treating people the right way, and simply being a good person every single day. But if I were to describe her as one thing above all else, it would be undoubtedly be selflessness. My mother is the most selfless human being I have ever met in my entire life, almost to a baffling degree. My mother will sacrifice her money, time, comfort, and anything else it takes to help someone or save someone or to make someone's life just a little bit better. She's literally done this her entire life. My mother spent every day of her existence serving the needs of others. As a sister, a mom, an aunt, a teacher, a minister, a volunteer, and an endlessly charitable individual. The most fascinating thing about my mother's selfless commitment to others is that at numerous times throughout her life, starting at a very young age, she has been harmed and hurt by people who were supposed to love her, care for her, and protect her. And yet she has never let these betrayals change her for the worse. She has grown from them, risen up from them, and become a better person for them. She has never, not even once, let these wrongdoings corrupt her soul or deter her from God's path. Instead, she's used these experiences to make herself better at loving others, caring for others, and to protect others from these types of things happening to them. As the second oldest of 7, she spent her childhood as the primary caregiver for most of her brothers and sisters. And later, when she was only in her 20s, she began fostering orphans. A few years after that, my sister Courtney and I were born, and shortly after that, my cousin Jess. And my mom spent every day putting her children and her nieces first, sacrificing decades of her life, her own needs, happiness, and wants to give us the best childhood she possibly could. Once her paternal duties had been fulfilled and my sister and I grew up and went off to college, when most people would have seized the opportunity to find personal enjoyment, she instead chose a different path. She chose to start a difficult journey, a journey to fulfill her destiny, to do what she was put here on this earth to do. To use her incredible intelligence, education, her talents, her skills, her lovingness, her compassion, and her eternal selflessness to serve God. My mother's work spans the spectrum from simple acts of kindness, like always buying extra food at the grocery store to make sure she never goes empty-handed, to the food collection at church on Sundays, to the monumental crusade of helping and sometimes even saving young, impoverished single mothers and their children. My mother's heart and soul is kind and pure. In 27 years, I have never seen a single ounce of hate, prejudice, injustice, or cruelty, not one time, not even for a single second. She is all-inclusive, all-loving, all-caring, and all-protecting of those who need it. I want to share a real brief story with you before I finish. A few years ago, when I first finished college, I hadn't been home to my mom's house for Thanksgiving in quite some time. My father lives in Florida. I usually go there for Thanksgiving, and I go to my mom's house for Christmas. But this particular year, I came home here to Ohio for Thanksgiving. And on Thanksgiving morning, I woke up and I came upstairs, and the entire house was covered in tables and chairs. The dining room table was stretched to the max, and as many chairs you could fit around it. There were fold-out tables overtaking the hallway and her office. And a little puzzled, because we don't have any family per se here in Ohio, I asked my mom who was coming over. And she said, well, there's 5 or 6 people from church who don't have anywhere to go, and our neighbors don't have any family here, and their friends don't have any family here, and somebody's cousin, and somebody's niece, and somebody's nephew, and even the guy who mows the lawn doesn't have anywhere to go tonight. So they're all coming here. This is the type of person my mother is. Always caring for others, always concerned for others, always inviting others into her home, her heart, and into her arms in order to make their lives just a little bit better. I cannot imagine a person, a man or a woman, who is more qualified, both in their accomplishments, in their heart, and in their soul, to enter the priesthood. There is no question in my mind that my mother's life has been training for this moment and for what lies ahead. It is such an honor to be here, and I'm so proud of you, Mom. I love you so much, and I'm so glad that you have finally found your way to your true calling. Mom, I want to commend you, and all of you here today, for that matter, for what you're doing. for standing up for what you believe in, for having the will to fight back against an injustice and the strength to see it through. This right here, right now, today, is a historic moment. Not just today, but what this organization has been doing for some time. It's historic. This is how you change the world. It starts with small groups of people in small rooms, fighting for what they believe in, for what they know to be right. A group of people who aren't afraid to stand up and be the change they seek in this world. One day, maybe in a few years, maybe in 100, but one day, people will look back on this room and the others like it, and they will say, this is where it started. This is how it happened. These were the pioneers, these were the women who corrected this injustice. These were the ones who laid the path for what is sure to be a long line of women Catholic priests. It's not always easy to make these types of changes, but when you're on the right side of history, eventually history will be on your side. I want to thank you, Mom, and all of you for giving me the opportunity to share a small part of this historic day. And I want to congratulate you again, Mom, not just on this incredibly amazing accomplishment, but on a life that has surely made God proud. I know that I certainly am.